Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us today. Some of our homeowners have been asking us about utility companies, and some don't understand how to read their bill and the extra hidden fees that they are incurring and how solar is going to help them out. That's why we've decided to create the Utility Corner, which is going to be a section of our YouTube channel that will include videos discussing different utilities, different states, their billing policies, and other aspects that affect their savings that you're going to receive by going solar. Joining us today is the Green Home Systems Managing Director, Robbie Herbert, as well as Allan Timko, who is the Energy Analyst and Research Executive for Green Home Systems. Thanks for your time today, gentlemen.
How's it going? Nice to see you, John. Nice to see you, Allan.
Allan, you've been the research analyst for Green Home for over 7 years now, and you've dealt with many utilities on a nationwide level. Which states are you focusing on most today and why?
So I do the research for 23 states, but there's a smaller and smaller group of states that have a fantastic combination that makes solar viable for them. And one of those states is Pennsylvania.
Yeah, we've seen in Pennsylvania, there's been a tremendous increase in the utility rates across every utility company, some of them being as high as a 40% increase in rates for Pennsylvania homeowners. Can you talk about some of the programs that Pennsylvania homeowners can enjoy in regards to offsetting those substantial increases?
The icing on the cake for Pennsylvania is not only does it have solar renewable energy certificates, i.e. credits, they're a pretty healthy amount. They're some of the, if not the highest in the country. So it has a great combination of incentives from a federal level and for the state. We call it SRECs for short.
It's helpful for homeowners to understand what an SREC is. 1,000 kilowatt hours of production equals one SREC. So just i.e. the average 10 kilowatt solar system produces 12,000 kilowatt hours a year. That homeowner would generate 12 RECs times $45, et cetera.
So that'd be the amount of credit that they would build up over a year.
Well, you hold on to these SRECs for the life of the solar system, which is really cool. So you can sell them after 1 year or 2 or 3, but you got to sell after 3. You can't hold longer than that.
Well, you could always just sell them and then throw that money in the bank as an investment, and then in 30 years cash it out. So
there you go. There you go.
Yeah, that's another.
It's an embarrassment of riches. It's an embarrassment of riches if you live in Pennsylvania.
It's just like back in the day when you'd save money or you'd save your aluminum cans, and you're like, you know what, the price is really low right now. I don't want to cash them in. And then you wait, and then it goes up a little higher, and you're like, okay, I'm going to cash in my aluminum cans for the last 2-3 years.
Super good analogy.
Value of the SREC, it's very important to note that it's the production off of your roof. It is not what you push back onto the grid. So you're going to get credit for each 1,000 kilowatt hours per year that your system produces. Very important. It's a great incentive to really, really take advantage of what's available currently in Pennsylvania.
So the simple fact is that there are polluting companies all over the world and all over the country. And these polluting companies have just a few options. Pay huge fines for being polluters, spend millions of dollars upgrading their infrastructure to not be polluters, or buy these solar renewable energy credits to avoid those fines and to avoid upgrading factories or what have you, so that they're not polluters any longer. And so they do the math, and many of them figure, hey, it's cheaper to buy these SRECs than it is to pay the huge fines or redo their infrastructure. Honestly, homeowners going solar in Pennsylvania, when you play the numbers out over 30 years, their SRECs are going to add up to roughly 60-ish% of what all their solar payments would be to buy the system in the first place. So it's just no longer a question of should I go solar, especially if you live in Pennsylvania. Anyway, just wanted to make sure that homeowners out there had a macro view of what SRECs are and why they actually exist.
One of the things that has been very exciting that we've recently have is the new Inflation Reduction Act and the effects it had on the solar industry, particularly on how it's affected the federal tax credit. Robbie, you want to let us know what the improvements and the benefits that has given the solar homeowners now?
Yeah, this was amazing because the tax credit had been scaled down to 26%. Next year it was going to be 22, and the next year it was going to go down to like 15. And so the administration raised it back up to 30%. And not only that, they are going to leave it at 30% until 2032 for the next 10 years. And the other really cool thing is they made it retroactive for anybody and everybody that signed a contract after January 1st of this year, 2022. If people were thinking like, oh, I should wait until next year, until the new tax credit kicks in because it's higher, this is not correct analysis. It's retroactive all the way to this past January of this year. So that's really a game changer. And also, that's not to be confused with the fact that once you go solar, and whatever year it is that you go solar, let's say, for example, this year, that homeowner then has 5 years to use the tax credit based on their tax liability and how much they actually pay in taxes in the first place. So, and what this also means is that the solar lenders, they then allow homeowners to only have to make payments on 70% of the cost of the system. It's called a reduced principal payment. And so the homeowners are only having to make payments on 70% of the cost of the system, which means that 90+% of the time, the homeowner's solar payment is going to be a lower number than the amount of their utility bill that they're eliminating, meaning solar literally costs the homeowner nothing in terms of monthly outlay. It's zero down. Payments don't start until 2 years after the install is complete, and the solar payment's always 90+% of the time going to be lower than the amount of the utility bill that the homeowner is eliminating. So because of the tax credit and because of these new utility rate increases, the way the numbers shake out in Pennsylvania is that it literally costs homeowners nothing to go solar monthly outlay wise.
And that takes us to kind of our overall conclusion here on how much Pennsylvania homeowners can save by going solar, not only through the solar renewable energy credits, but also the increase in the federal tax credits as well. This shows kind of just an overall picture on how much they can save from day one. But this is kind of day one, the first year. The what you see on the left with the old electric bill, every year that would have continued to increase. And therefore, every year the savings is going to be greater and greater as your solar payment stays fixed. Isn't that right, Robbie?
This is exactly how that shakes out for homeowners in Pennsylvania now. I mean, you basically, the tighter money is, the more difficult things become, the bigger the need for solar, because this is the only way without spending any money that you can actually reduce your monthly outlay and actually reduce your budget on a monthly basis without having to spend any money to do it. On top of the fact that you're preventing your utility bill from effectively doubling on you in approximately 7 years. And prior to the gas prices going up, prior to basically everybody not being able to afford to not move to electric cars, the new world we're living in, and the fact that all the grids are going to start to have problems because of all the demand from all the electric cars about to be coming into play, and everybody coming home and plugging in at 6 p.m. The grids can't handle it. And so effectively, we're all going to have to end up paying to upgrade the infrastructure and to replace all the transformers, which is why the utility companies are now getting away with raising rates the way they are. You and I are going to have to pay to upgrade the infrastructure and all the transformers around the country. The days whereby homeowners really had a choice to make, those days are over. They're long gone.
One of the things we want to do, some of our homeowners are a little bit confused or not sure exactly what all the charges are on their bill. Allan, could you quickly go over the various elements here on an electric bill just to give homeowners an idea of what they're reading and what each one of the charges refers to?
This is a very simplified version of a bill. Over on the left, you'll see this is a bill for 698 kilowatt hours. And the important thing is, in Pennsylvania, they split the cost of the power into the generation and transmission charge line. where you can see that the $64, they separate that out. And then the distribution charge is the cost of the wires and just exactly what you have. And then the reason this is a simplified bill, if you see up here, it says, customer 123 Main Street. Well, an actual bill for your area where you're at, or if you're in a city that has taxes like a utility tax and things like that, they're typically kilowatt hour based. So the less kilowatt hours you can have land on your bill, the less in taxes you're paying as a dollar amount every month to your entity that's, charging these fees. And this is a simplified bill just to break it down into two general components of the cost of the energy and to push it down the lines and the distribution charges of all the things you mentioned here.
Just to simplify real quick, so let's just pretend that a homeowner goes solar and they get a 95% coverage system, right? They use 10,000 kilowatt hours a year, and then they buy a solar system that produces 9,500 kilowatt hours a year. Well, guess what? That means 95%, be it fuel cost fees, carrier fees, distribution fees, transmission fees. Well, if you have a 95% coverage system, then 95% of those fees are going to go away also. It's not only your kilowatt hour rate charge that goes away. That's the simpler, easier way for a homeowner to understand that all of that's going to go away at the same level with which your system is sized coverage-wise.
I just wanted to thank Allan and Robbie for joining us today, gave us a nice explanation on the situation with the homeowners in Pennsylvania, on all the great opportunities to save a ton of money to be going solar. There's a lot of special opportunities that Pennsylvania homeowners have that not everybody else has in the United States. So it's a premium state in regards to the attractiveness for going solar. But thanks again, you guys, for joining us, and absolutely tune in to the Utility Corner on the Green Home Systems YouTube page to get more information about your utility company and how you can save a lot of money by going solar. Thanks, everybody.
Yes, and if you live in Pennsylvania, say a gratitude prayer today, because you're very lucky, and there's only about 5 states that are as advantageous for the homeowner solar-wise compared to Pennsylvania. So you're very blessed if you live in Pennsylvania as far as renewable energy goes.
Take advantage of that, Pennsylvania homeowners, for sure. Thanks,
Okay.
Allan.
Thanks, John. Thanks,
All right.
John. Nice to see you guys.
All right.
Take care, you
guys.
Bye.